Good morning, welcome to HJ Goes Live. Today's session is sponsored by Avlon, and today we're going to be joined by Pashcan'el Mitchell. Pash is an Avlon educator. He's the lead Afro hair educator for Blue Tit salons, and he's going to be joining us very shortly. So I'm just going to invite Pash to the chat. Bear with me just a second. Pray for the technology to work. With a model today, and we're going to be chatting about all the different straightening options. And here is Pash with his model. Hey.
Hey, you guys all right?
Yeah, really good. Thanks. How are you doing?
I'm doing good. I don't know if you can see us properly, but let me try it.
Yeah. Awesome. So I was just chatting to everyone about kind of the look that you're going to be showing us today, the styling that you're going to be doing, and the focus is all about straightening, and we're going to be chatting about the Avlon products. So firstly, welcome. Introduce your model to us.
All right, so I'm Pashcan'el Mitchell. This is my model, Cass.
Hi. Hi, Cass.
I will put the camera on when we start styling.
Awesome.
Today we're literally focusing on a silk press. Cass is as we get into it, we'll talk about more about the straightening systems, why we make the choices, and I'll talk more about why I made my choice with Cass. But that's a little bit heads up. She's a DJ. She likes to change her hair often. She wears it curly. She wears it straight. She braids it. So today we literally done a silk press, which is like a, might as well say, you should think of it like globally a temporary change. So she would love to wear it straight sometimes. So this will last her about a week. She can touch it up herself at home with her straighteners, using the right products. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoy the look.
Bro. So you've just touched on silk presses there. So would you be able to talk us through, for people who are listening to this who might not know all of the straightening options that are out there for textured Afro hair, what are the options for people who want to straighten their hair?
Okay, so at Avlon, the way we look at it is you have your temporary, you got your semi-permanent, and then you have your permanent straightening systems. So your temporary straightening system, what's big on the market at the moment, is a silk press. You literally come, go to your salon, you ask for a silk press. It should be a treatment, a moisturizing treatment that helps to moisturize the hair. Because as you know, with textured hair, everything is moisture, moisture, moisture. Without moisture, you're not going to be able to achieve what you need to do to the hair. So you have your treatment that will be hydrating, working inside, and afterwards we'll bring her through to come through for a silk press blow dry, where we put our moisturizers on to help give her the semi or the temporary straight look that can go on for a couple of days. Then you have your semi-release, what will be like your texture releases or your Brazilians or your keratins. They will last about, depends on how often you wash your hair, 3 to 5 months. And that is basically someone that likes the versatility, but they tend to wear their hair possibly straighter a bit more than wearing it curly. But if they still wear it curly and they choose the option to wear it straight, it doesn't revert on them as quickly as if you were to do a silk press that will probably revert on you, depending on your texture, depending on the hydration in your hair. This should last you a lot longer. And then finally, you have your permanents. That's like your relaxers, curly perms, but relaxers are mainly for like your permanently straight looks. If someone decides to say, you know what, I always wear my hair straight, oh, I like to wear a short pixie look, something that's very straight, then they'll choose the option to go in for the relaxers.
Oh. And have you found there's been a trend for one of those three options recently, or is it really down to whatever you want to do?
I think recently we're having more options for the silk press because the products are just a lot better on the market. Or if it's not a silk press, we're going more for like your temporary, so you're going for more, or your semi-permanent, so you're going for more like your texture releases. It's just that the products on the market allow you so much versatility now, so you've got a lot more choices. Me personally as a stylist, I work with, if you come into the salon, I'm asking you what you would like to have done and why you would like to have it done. And then I'll look at, out of the three options, I will then give you my recommendation. I think really and truly, you shouldn't be limited in today to be able to say you want anything you want. you should be able to achieve it with the right treatments and the right service done. There is a big natural movement, I think, across the board, no matter what your background is, as long as you've got curly hair or some kind of texture, people want to wear their texture, they want to see their texture. It makes them feel more themselves, more individual. So I think that's a big trend at the moment. And I think it's about embracing texture. I think for a long time, everyone thought straight is the way to go, no matter what your hair type was. And I think today you've got so many options and everyone wants to be individual. Why not rock your curls? Why not have the option to wear it straight or curly? Or have the option to say, you know what, I permanently want to be straight. Let's go straight.
You touched on a really good point there about consultation, and like kind of getting your client to tell you about their lifestyle, like what they're doing to their hair day in, day out, how they actually live their life as being a driver of what is the best straightening option for them, if at all.
I think for a client, I think, like you said, consultation is really important. And I think getting to know your stylist is super important. I think what I've noticed is a lot of people just pop in for that one service where before you get your repeat clients. And it's about building that rapport with your stylist so they understand what's going on in your life. You might have had a baby recently and your hair might be thinning, so you might want to stop your relaxer. Or you might be like, you know what, I've had a baby, I can't blow dry my hair as often, I can't get to the salon as much as I need to. So maybe you might opt in for a relaxer so that it makes it easier for you day to day to do your hair. I think it's really important as understanding what's going on in your client's life, what they do for a job, how much time they have, hair routine, working on a hair routine with your client. For example, Cass, I've known Cass for years now, and when we first met, she was telling me about her hair problems. Her hair was like a lot shorter, she had quite a bit of breakage, and now if you look at Cass's hair, it's grown a lot. I'll just move it down so you can have a look. We're just doing a real good cut, you can see the hair's grown, it's flowing. Her goal was to grow it, and we've grown it, and we're giving her options. She wants to wear her hair shorter, giving her options that she can choose to go. If she's going away to a hot country, she's going to like the States or something, I might opt her in for like a texture release, what will make it last longer in a humid country. Just because I know if she keeps up to date with what she's doing, I can recommend different treatments for her that will help benefit her and give her the best out of all the options she has.
Well, cool. Do you want to kick us off with a bit of styling and what you've done today on Cass's hair?
Yeah, I don't know if you guys can see. I'll drop it so you can have a little bit of look.
Yeah,
with Cass today, we've chose to do a silk press. So she came this morning, bright and early, because we had this live with you. We've done a treatment, moisturizing treatment to help, well, even a bond treatment, should I say. I've not seen her in a little while. Her hair is being a bit dehydrated, so I've done a moisture treatment mixed with a bond treatment, just to get the elasticity back in her hair, push some moisture into her hair. We blow dried it through, paddle brush, then round brush, and now we're about to give her a trim or a reshape because she wants a bit more face framing. We're not going too short because once she wears her hair curly, it will jump up, and then we're going to straighten it through and style it for her.
Wow. So it'd be great to chat through for people who are doing straightening procedures. What are the key performance indicators for hair strengthening? What should people be looking out for and making sure the hair is as strong and is going to withstand any straightening treatments that you do on it?
I think it all comes back down to your consultation and also through your like your elasticity tests or your porosity test. They're the two indicators that are going to help you understand where to go for your treatment and if their hair is ready for a relaxer or if their hair is ready for a, or depending on what treatment you want to do for your client. I think moisture is key. everything works with moisture. If Cass came in and her hair is dehydrated, the first thing I'll do is I was the blow dryer, send her out, and she says, yeah, we've done the silk press. As soon as she steps outside, it's going to start reverting. It's going to start taking the moisture from the atmosphere, from the hands, because it's going to be thirsty. But once I know that she comes in, we give her a treatment, we start building her hair ready for it. I think that is the foundation of any straightening service, is the hydration and moisture balance in the hair.
Awesome. While you're working, I'm just going to shout out a little bit about Avlon products. And if anyone's watching today and wants to find out more education on Avlon, then the website to go to is www.avloneurope.co.uk. Everything is there in terms of if you're wanting to do educational courses or you want to order products or any treatments that you've seen today on the live, you can head to the website and they will have you sorted. That's my QVC bit done.
It was very good.
Thank you very much.
You've done Avlon proud. My bit's gonna start in a minute. I'm gonna start spraying some Frizz Elixir in.
Awesome.
The Frizz Elixir is great. At the moment, my favorite product from Avlon, just a plug at the moment, is the Uberlist. You can use it on all hair types. It penetrates very well. It's not too heavy, but it leaves the hair not wanting. And I think, for me personally, at the moment, as my clients are varied, I need something that works on everybody. And I think for people today, you need something that's going to be very diverse because your clientele should be becoming more diverse. Even with the clientele that you have already, the way they're wearing their hair makes your clientele diverse because they're going to change on you. Where you would just come in and get a blow dry done and think, okay, yeah, we're just doing a blow dry, it's super nice. They're going to be like, you know what, today I want to diffuse my hair and I want to try and get my curls to come. So then you need to be able to grab a product that's going to help you get your curls or bring the curls out or allow you to have the hair straight and not be too weighed down or too greasy. So I think a lot of people should be seeing their clientele diversify.
And I guess it's rare now to have people coming in to say, oh, the same as last time. Or is that being driven by clients or is that being driven by stylists? And should that be driven by stylists? Because I guess day in, day out, you don't want to be doing the same thing.
I think it should be driven by stylists, but unfortunately, I think it's more driven by TikTok and social media. I think, like we were saying, with social media thing, everybody's got a voice. And I think with hairdressing, it's gone so far. But at the same time, we were in a safe zone for so long. We were so comfortable. And I think where TikTok and social media's come about, everyone's seeing what was before and potentially what is the trend. And that allows a client or anybody to sit online and be like, I want that style tomorrow. Or I want to wear this style. I want this style. You got the emergence of wigs. You got the emergence of wolf cut, shags, curly hair. You got everything happening. Trends are happening so fast. So I think as a stylist, your job is to be able to keep up with what's going on. Your job should be able to recommend your client as the season changes, different looks, different styles. I think it's super important. I think that's how you keep your client, and that's how you build a new clientele as well, because you're keeping up with trends. Your client don't feel like, oh, that's another seat on his bum, another chair, a bum on his seat. He takes an interest in the way I look.
Individuality and
there you go in its fullest. So I think definitely you should keep up with trends and know what's going on. Yeah.
I feel like I keep interrupting you every time you.
You're interrupting. So I'm just gonna go through, like I said, Uberlist, Frizz Elixir. And we're just gonna spray through section by section. Like it's the name explains itself. It gets rid of the frizzes, it helps the hair, the tongues to glide over the hair, it has a shine, but it's not too heavy. I use it on all hair types, all clientele. A couple pumps and we're good to go.
It smells nice.
And it's not nice.
Yeah, you need that, right? And is it an oil-based product or water-based or kind of, what's the consistency of the elixir?
It's of a, so it's 2-in-1. It's a thermal protector and anti-humidity. So we're going to get the thermal protector anti-humidity. I don't know if you're going to be able to see it. It's almost like an oil base, but it goes in very, it doesn't sit on the hair heavy, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
It's more like a lotion, if that makes sense.
Oh, cool.
The best way to explain it. Any more? But yeah, I'm just going to go through and I'm going to start tonguing. She's got a look that she wants to go for. I'm going to put a bit of a wave through it. Hopefully you guys like the look. I know we're on limited time.
Don't worry, we can chat. We can chat for hours. We're good. Do what you need to do. So we did
straightening through. Sorry, quickly.
No, you
I
go.
think another thing to remember is not taking too big of a section, not being scared of heat, and just taking your time to make the heat glide through, close them cuticles shut, and smooth the hair. And it should come out looking. Don't know if you guys can see. The camera's a bit too high.
I can see shine.
You can see shine. As long as you can see shine. Have you guys seen change in the market? A lot more people as you're walking around, or do you feel like the industry's changing a bit?
For sure. I mean, in terms of it, with us, yeah, the natural hair movement that we're seeing more and more on Instagram, and like you mentioned, TikTok, like it's just huge. But I think the main thing is just showing clients that they've got choice.
Yeah.
And it's not a one size fits all.
No.
And it's not, you're not like you were maybe like 10 years ago, straightening the hell out of hair to make it comply and be like fit in with like everyday standards. It's do what you want to do increasingly. And we're seeing that in collections that we have for the British Hairdressing Awards. We're seeing that and the kind of things that we're tagged in on social. And more salons, the hunger and the thirst for learning about Afro hair texture education, if they haven't already, is definitely there. And I would encourage anyone that's watching this today, if you've got any questions, do pop them in the chat. I'm actually just going to go up and find one that was someone popped in earlier. Oh, there's a lot of people joining. I've got to go through a lot of a lot of chats here.
I think exactly.
I can't find it anymore. Sorry.
When you look, I said exactly what you said. I said, especially when you're looking at the curl chart. When I do education, and I talk about textured hair, and I look at the curl chart, a lot of people are very surprised to see where texture starts from. And I say to people all the time, if you don't know the curl chart, you can Google it, you can catch it on YouTube. It's very simple to see and have a look at. But you get to see, it starts from type 2 to type 4. Yeah. The moment you get a wave, you're starting to deal with texture. And obviously, the stronger the wave turns into a curl, then to a coil, the texture changes, and obviously it comes down to your skill to understand porosity, understanding what product to use and how to use the product and what product sits right. On type 4 here, the porosity is higher, so we're going to want more oil-based products. We're going to want products that are going to sit on the hair, weigh the hair down, but not weigh it down when it's too greasy. Where the porosity is open or the cuticles are open, the hair is going to absorb a lot more products. As you work your way back up to type 3 to type 2, you're going to realize that obviously the porosity is going to start getting to medium to low. Obviously, once it's medium, once it's low, you're going to want more, still a bit of oil, but more water-based products so that it's not going to weigh the hair down too much. And that's how much porosity affects. I think a lot of people don't understand porosity. We know what porosity is, but we don't understand it in its full sense of how it works across the board. We understand it for color. We can be like, if you've got high porosity, the color is going to penetrate quicker. If you've got a low porosity, you're going to need to probably use a higher peroxide. But it works across the board when it comes to how you choose to layer your products up, what product you choose to reach for, understanding like you asked, is it oil-based, is it water-based? If you've got a high porosity hair and it's got a strong curl to it, you don't want water because water is going to revert the texture. So you need something that's going to still give it moisture and hydrate the hair. So we're going with oils, but we're going to need them to not be too heavy and weigh the hair down. So it's very important just to understand porosity in its whole entirety.
Yeah, and you mentioned earlier about doing a porosity test and elasticity test. Now, for people who don't know how to do that, what is the simplest way to do those tests?
So the simplest way for a porosity test is you could do the water and cup method. Get a see-through plastic cup, or in this climate, let's use a glass cup, so you can reusable. Take a strand of your client's hair, making sure that it's not got product buildup on it, because that could also affect the porosity test. And placing it on top of the water. Now, if it's got a high porosity, it's going to absorb, it's going to sink very quickly. If it's got a medium porosity, it will absorb it and it'll sink very slowly. And this is a low porosity, 9 times out of 10, it should just float because it's not going to absorb, it's just going to float on the top. That's one way of understanding porosity. Also, feeling the hair shaft.
Yeah.
And looking at the curl chart, I think the easiest way for me to understand it is type 1, you're going to have a low porosity. Type 4, you're going to have a high porosity. Just because of the way the curl sits, how the hair looks. It doesn't mean the hair is always going to be 100% dry, but the cuticles will most likely be open on type 4. Another way to understand porosity is for if you're a colorist and you're doing a lot of coloring, for example, bleaching, lifting, you will end up seeing your client's hair get drier over time. And that's where the bond systems came in, and everyone started running to bond systems because they're like, yes, it's going to help strengthen my client's hair and do all the stuff when my client's hair is getting fragile over time over coloring. But it's not just about bonding or strengthening systems. It's also about, again, looking at hydration, looking at moisture, and understanding how to get that into your client's hair. Because as you color and as you almost not damage the cuticle layer, but do a little bit of damage to that cuticle layer, is how do I help to strengthen it and moisturize it and make sure, because my client's now changing from being a low porosity to medium or high, because the cuticle layers might be gone or they might be open because of all that open and shutting from coloring. So again, that's how porosity can affect your client's hair. And to do your elasticity test, I think once the hair is wet, take a single strand of the client's hair and just test the strength of the hair and elasticity by giving it a little gentle pull. You want to feel some spring back. Low porosity type 1 hair tends to not really have much elasticity. It might not give you much pullback because the hair is poker straight, dead straight already. But with going from type 2 to 3 to 4, you want some pull or some give back. Does that help?
And also, those kind of tests are quite a cool thing to be doing with your client and kind of bringing them in on the journey through the consultation and kind of showing so you're really looking at them as an individual and their hair as an individual, and you're not just doing the same thing every time. So I think that's kind of a cool thing to do with your client.
I think try and do a consultation every 3 times you see your client. I just think it's just a trick to go forward. Like you said, your client, something could have changed. It makes them feel like an individual. It makes you feel like you're taking care of them, which you are. And yeah, I think you just get to know your client's hair a lot better and what's going on by doing a consultation. Even if you see them every couple of weeks, do a consultation, book it in, make sure that, I've seen this client 3-4 times. Let's see if anything's different, and we'll do a consultation, find out if anything's changed, if they're stressed, because we know how stress can have an effect, and then go from there.
Awesome. So I found the question that we had earlier, and it was from Dan, who said, when you're talking about using a relaxer, is this the same thing as perm straightening on European hair?
No. So when we talk about doing a relaxer, we're talking about permanently changing you from being curly or coily or natural to being straight. Yeah, completely bone straight. So when Cassie's hair is curly when it's natural, when we wash it, If she was to get a relaxer when she washes her hair, she won't have any curl left. It will just be bone straight. The reason why a relaxer is, I think some people have problems with it. I think it's still great to use and it's great to have on the market. I think, first of all, it's about understanding what, when, why, and how. Why are you going to do a relaxer for your client? What strength you're using and what relaxer you're going to use. How long to leave it on for. How you're going to apply it. When you're going to do it for your client. It will make a difference in how you do your relaxer. Also, like I said, making sure the moisture balance is there, doing your treatments after they get their relaxer, making sure they come in for treatments and moisture so you can keep that health of your client's hair so it doesn't start deteriorating. Also, making sure your clients understand how often they can straighten their hair at home makes a big difference. So relaxer has its place in the market. And I think going into someone that knows how to do a relaxer, I mean, you can pick a relaxer up. You can pick most products up off the high street now. The way we buy products have completely changed. It's straight to consumers now. So I think it's important to tell your clients, number one, is your client, go into a salon, go into a professional to be a relaxer. But number two, also understanding the products, because we've got all these bond systems on the market and all these different things, but you can do an overload. The same way, too much of anything can go the wrong way, if that makes sense. So it's understanding what you're buying as a consumer, or you as a stylist explaining to your clients what to get, when to come to you, to buy it from the salon. If they're not buying it from the salon, if they do buy it, bring it in so you can have a look at it. I think a lot of people, they hear something's good, they know they can buy it themselves, they want to use it, and they're going to go and do it. And I think that's where, for example, relaxer's got a bad name because anyone can pick it up, anyone can use it. But I'm completely different to someone that has never done training on a relaxer. I would do it completely different. I know the timings, I know how to do the relaxer. If you guys want to learn, you can come down to Avlon. This is my QVC moment. Come to Avlon, we can do training. And yeah, we can teach you how to do a relaxer. But I think that's the biggest difference in knowing the difference between your smoothing systems, SOS, knowing the difference between your smoothing systems, what smoothing system to use, and how to use the smoothing system makes a big difference.
And I know you work with blue tip salons now, doing a lot of education from them. You're their lead Afro hair educator, is that right?
Yes, it is.
Yeah. And how has that partnership been? How many years have you been doing that for?
I'm coming up to my third year in August. So I've been there for 2 years. We've done internal training, so everybody in the company has come through. They've seen me. We've done an introduction to textured hair, and then we've also done our difference between our silk presses to our texture releases. We don't do relaxers at Blue Tip, so that will have to be at Avlon if you want relaxer at Avlon. But if you would like to do some training, we do training, external training with Blue Tip. So you guys can go down to Blue Tip's website as well and get book in. You can see me there as well. And we do a 3-day course where we take you from basically, introduction to textured hair. We will have a first day theory where we go through blockhead, do a bit of styling. We will teach you about porosity, elasticity, what to expect with textured hair, what to expect when someone walks in, the right culture. Then day 2 we'll look at silk presses, and day 3 we'll look at texture release. It's a really interesting course to have a look at. As well as you can go to Avlon as well. We do training there. We do relaxers, chemicals. We look at the Avlon range of products, so you can have a choice of what range or what family to go into, or what products to have in your salon, what will benefit you, not just for your type 4 and your tighter textures, but also for your type 2s and 3s. So you have a look at all products, so you can also go there too if you want some training. But I think training is a big part of learning how to do textured hair. It helps you along the way. It will get you out of all the sticky situations. and understanding culture as well. I think the culture of textured hair and what we cover for textured hair, I think there's a fine line to this works for textured hair, and then this is culture, if that makes sense. And I think when it comes to textured hair, a lot of people think they understand the game. They just think they need to worry about Afro type 4 hair or tight coils. But I think it travels, and like I said, when I do my courses, a lot of people don't realize that it comes from type 2 the moment you get a wave. If you're looking at someone from a Turkish background or Arabic background, when I was in the salon in Central, we'll get a lot of Arabs that will come in for summer, and they'll be like, we go to the local salons in Central, but they can't blow dry my hair. Why can't they blow dry it? And again, it's understanding porosity, understanding the right products to use, the right heat to use, how to blow dry and how to handle the hair. And that's just because we understand texture and porosity. So when I teach the course or when I just talk in general, I think texture, when we say texture, the moment you get a wave or a kick, you've got texture. It's about how do we deal with that individual texture. Understanding people's got multiple textures, how to handle multiple textures if they want to wear it curly or leave it natural. To, again, I say to people, if you ever blow dry somebody and they say to you, oh, the front of my hair feels a bit wiry, or it never listens to me. It's a different texture. You just can't see it the same way you will see it in curly hair. And that's so important to understand. So I think I don't separate the difference between, I don't like the word Afro. I think Afro is a hairstyle, it's a microphone, and that's the culture of saying black hair. I say you got textured hair, type 1 to type 4. Understanding is it a coil, is it a curl, is it a wave, what the porosity level is, and working from there. And that's the best way to understand texture. Stop separating it. Hair is hair, texture is texture, and go from there.
So that, I mean, I kind of want to clap that. That was great. Talking about the hair type system, which we have spoken about before actually, and we did an article about recently, and some stylists find it limiting, whereas others are like, no, it's a really useful tool, and you don't have to be wedded to it. You don't have to be seriously invested in it, because different a head of hair can have multiple textures in, but it's a good starting point. Where do you sit on that debate, if it's a debate at all?
Say that beginning part again. What's the debate?
So with the hair type system, the hair type. So yeah, the typing system.
Okay, cool.
So you use it day in, day out?
I use it day in and day out. I think the hair typing system, the best way to look at it is like looking at a color chart. If you go to anywhere in the world, you will understand the color chart. But different parts of the world, different people's hair will throw out different undertones. Yeah. So the colors would slightly change depending on what brand you use and all these different things. So we don't throw away the color chart and say, well, this brand has warmer tones and this brand has cooler tones. You would generally look at that brand's color chart, but we understand 2 to 10, if that makes sense. 2 is going to be your blacks, and you're going to go to your coolers and whatever, how the color chart works. And so the hair typing system, I say, is not something that is, for example, Cassie's got a type 3C and that is it. No, it's a roughly, I can look at it and be like, she looks like a 3B, 3C. That's going to tell me she might have a medium to high porosity. Then I'll start talking to Cass and getting more information. How do you look after your hair? What products do you use? How often do you shampoo? And that gives me a key point where I can springboard from. Now, if someone's going to walk into the salon and be like, oh, you're a 3C, let's go to the backwash, you're going to get yourself lost because she might have 2 textures in her hair. So I might just look at her hair and be like, all right, in the front, it looks like a 3C. In the back, it looks more like a 3B. It's a bit looser. I've got an idea. So I think that's how I look at it. I look at it like a color chart. I think I walk around, I say to people all the time, walk around London, walk around looking at your clients here, different people in the salon, and try and guess where they sit on the texture chart. Yeah, it's not going to give you no one is a complete, if you look at a color chart, no one is a complete color 3 or a complete color 4. But we can use it as a springboard. No 2 people are going to sit in front of you and be like, that's a color 4. But you understand, she sits around this point, meaning possibly her undertones will throw out these colours, meaning I'm going to take this approach. Then and that's the best way to go about it. So I think the debate where people say this doesn't work, I think everything can work for you if you understand how to use it and how to approach it, and then go from there. People will tell you silicone is bad, but if you look at some of your favorite products, they might have silicone in it. You know where I'm coming from. People might tell you sulfates are bad, but if you've got a lot of build up and you've got a lot of product that someone's worked into your hair, a sulfate shampoo at that moment in time will be great to take away the build up, and then you can go through using your hydrating and moisturizer. Next time you might not need it again. There's things that we have on the market that has its place, and maybe we've been using it wrong, or maybe we never understood how to use it at the time. But as time's gone on, with more products coming on the market, it then fits into, or it slips into a gap that works for it. And I think there's definitely a gap for the textured chart or typing system, especially if you're a beginner and you don't know where you're starting from. Is a great way to, as an entry point, to understand where you can go next. Yeah.
And how are we doing with styling? Because I know I keep distracting you.
You know what? I'm just a bad multitasker. I'm gonna try and multitask. We're gonna get there. We're gonna finish on time. Still ask the questions. Keep them coming. I'm just passionate when I'm talking.
Cool. We've had so many people joining. It's been great. And for anyone that has joined, if you do have any questions, now is your chance to ask them to Pash. No question is too big, too small, too stupid. Like, it's a safe space for asking whatever you want. Probably just about hair. We're not sure if we're taking other questions.
Yeah. Let's do hair. Let's do hair.
So the conversation around wearing hair straight has changed over the years. This is another question that we've had from Avlon, and we wanted you to touch on the cultural implications around that. So it's a damn big question, but could you speak on that?
So again, the culture of hair and how it changed?
So wearing hair straight and the cultural implications of it, how has it changed? How has the conversation developed over the years?
You got two sides to that question. There's two sides to it. The first side is tackling as a stylist or as fashion. It's changed a lot over the years, and it's an amazing thing that's happened, how we can get to wear our hair in so many different diverse ways and change it. And like from it started off from being obviously hot comb on the oven to ceramics to relaxers, blow dries, and now we've got silk presses and texture releases. Like science is an amazing thing, and things just keep evolving and changing, what I think is great. On the other hand, culturally, hair is a big part of culture. And to talk about textured hair, you have to go to its ugly part of history and understand where it comes from and why people are so coveted over their hair. Like back in the day in the States, for example, you weren't allowed to, when we first got brought over, your hair was shaven off. You were taken, all the products that you understood, all the oils you knew were taken away from you. You didn't have to do your hair. Coming from slavery, you weren't allowed to wear your hair out. Hence why we got all the beautiful head wraps and how women wear their hair today with head wraps. Comes from a point where you weren't allowed to wear your hair out, but I'm gonna wrap it, and I'm gonna wrap it so that you can see my style and my fashion. To the point where then you had the natural hair movement and rocking the afro, and it became a political stance. And we still use the word afro now to describe black hair, but it was actually a hairstyle that came about. To the point where relaxers hit the market, and to be seen as professional for black women, or you had to wear your hair straight to get an office job. You couldn't wear an afro because you look like or your natural hair. If you wore your natural hair, it would look like you're rebelling. And it weren't about rebelling, it was about that's their natural hair, it grows. The way my hair grows, I'm rebelling. So when you get to today and people are saying, are you making a choice where your natural hair to fit in? Because that's what we see on TV, that's what we see in Hollywood, that's what we see on day-to-day Channel 4. Or are you wearing your hair natural and straight because that's your choice and your preference? I think it's a hard question to answer because, again, media plays a big part in how we choose to look and how we choose to wear our hair. But I think if we look at it from a fashion point, I think, and today where everyone is choosing their pronouns and choosing the way they want to represent themselves, I think let people have the choice to wear their hair how they want to wear their hair. Hairdressing and hair has allowed people to express themselves and save their mental. People don't realize how much the way you look in the mirror and how your hair looks affects your mental health. The ease of your hair, getting up in the morning and just being like, oh, I can do my hair today. It's easy because I chose to do a relaxer, or I chose to get a texture release, or I chose to keep it natural. It's up to you. I think it's just about make people make their choices why they want to make their choices. And if it's a choice that they want questions or they think they might be making the wrong choice, go to your stylist, have a conversation, or go to your group, go to your mum, go to your someone and have the conversations. But I think in today's age, let people choose what they want to do with their hair, their body, and there's so many options that are healthy for someone to have a choice. They're not being forced down a pipeline, or they're not being forced to do anything. Yeah, the choice is there. But it is a loaded question. There's a lot of history. And again, I think a part of understanding the culture, making someone feel comfortable when they're coming into the salon, making someone feel like they can achieve what they ask for in the salon, not get charged £1,000 more than anybody else, is a big part of the culture and understanding how to do textured hair.
You're so right about pricing, and that's such a big debate in the industry at the moment. And it's not even a debate, it's a discussion in the industry of the cost of having textured hair is so much higher than the cost of not having textured hair, and what can be done by the industry to, should we be changing pricing structures? Yeah, it's definitely a discussion point. And if anyone's got any of
I personally don't think it's a discussion point. I think it's if you're going to do texture styling, you're going to have to go to understand where texture styling comes from, understanding your clientele, understanding your price point. So first of all, yes, if you're in the central compared to a local salon, your price point will be higher because your rates are higher. But then secondly, I say to people all the time, if I'm a colorist and it takes me an hour to put in highlights, or 2 hours or 3 hours, should I make the client pay more for my lack of skill, or should they pay less? So my thing is, anyone who puts in highlights, who does it on a day-to-day basis, they're going to be a lot quicker. And we, in fact, want to charge because they're quicker. So if you're going to do textured hair and you can't do it as fast as someone who's a textured stylist, why is the client getting paying more for your lack of skill? I don't understand that debate. Now, if someone walks in, and this could happen to anyone, you might be Spanish with loads of hair and it's thicker and it's longer. You're going to say to that person, it's going to take a bit longer because you know how long it should take because you are a professional in your field. Because it can take a bit longer, we might charge you this much. And you'll say that at the beginning. You don't say to someone after you finish the service and say, oh, sorry, it took so long, we're going to charge this much. So I think the debate is industry trying to capitalize off of textured hair without doing the work. Do the work first, pick your speed up. If you know how to do it, you then charge appropriately. There's loads of places you can go to learn, you can come to get education from. And once you get the education, again, I don't think textured hair is a multi-billion-dollar industry. In fact, it took black people out of poverty in times that hairdressing, when you couldn't get no other job, hairdressing was there that it got people out of poverty. So clearly there's money to be made, but you got to understand the culture first. You got to understand your target audience. You got to understand where you're situated in the industry, where in the map of the world, and so on and so on and so on. Because otherwise, you then turn into you're extorting people, and you don't want to be able to not do the hair good and extort someone. Then what's the point? You're just basically going back to modern day slavery. It's just like, yeah, come to me. I'm gonna do this for you. You're gonna charge me. You're gonna pay me this amount, and you're not gonna get a good job. You're not gonna get. All you're gonna get is a good cup of tea. Yeah, I didn't come to get a good cup of tea. The tea was nice. It helped wash down the pain, but you know what I mean.
I've got a question for Mr. Rick Roberts.
Yes.
And he said, will you ask the talented Pash what he thinks is the next 2024 texture or Afro trends? Please. He asked politely.
See, the texture industry is a weird one, I would say. I would say you're going to see a lot more natural hair coming through. But I think the market sits differently, and especially depends on your background and where you come from. London, you're going to see a lot more, I think, fringes is just natural hair, rounder shape, wearing the hair more curly, bigger. But then you got clients like Cass who she can wear her hair big, round, fringe, all of it, but then she also wants to wear it straight. I think textured hair or the textured market, especially ours, Cass, women change their hair constantly. Cass will call me, Pash, I want braids, Pash, I want to wear my hair straight, Pash, I want to wear my hair curly. And I think it does changes with the vibe at the moment and what's happening, and it changes with the season. So I think summertime you're going to see a lot more natural hair. You're going to see a lot more curls pop in. I think people will be more confident wearing their natural hair. And then if you're doing your relaxers, I think short pixies are coming through. I'm seeing a lot of short pixie wigs happening at the moment, and I think women are going to want to, they're doing the mullet, they're doing the shag, they're growing it out again. But I think when summer comes and everyone's jumping on holiday, I think we're going to see for textured hair a lot more pixies and relaxers. Hopefully, that's what I want to see. So I want to be pushing for
Love that. I'm so sorry, but I'm gonna have to leave the the live without the finished look because people are outside the door trying to come into the meeting.
I'm so sorry. I think the combo was better than the finished look.
Yeah, I feel like we covered a lot of ground, and it's been an absolute pleasure to talk to you and watch you work and just hear your valuable expertise.
Thank you.
Really, really appreciate it, Pash.
Thank you.
Will you send us?
I will send you the finished look, and then I will put it up on my story as well.
Yeah, I love that.
It was amazing speaking to you, and I hope you, I enjoyed it. I hope you
it was really fun. We should do this again. Thank you so much, Cass. Bye, Cass, as well. See you guys.
Bye.